Okay, we're going to start trading today without much news to drive the markets. The biggest news out overnight was France industrial production number was higher than forecast. That was pretty much it. The Bank of Japan and negative interest rates, in trying to get their private sector to not buy government paper, which doesn't yield very much, and move it into the public lending. No central bank is having any luck with this, and the problem is that we're not growing jobs. If jobs were growing and people were going back to work, they wouldn't have the problem. But every central bank in the world faces the same problem and the dilemma. You know, what do we do to get ourselves out of this mess that we've created by pretty much zero interest rate policies and increased regulations that specify who and how will get the money if banks actually lend it. So it really is, you know, the money that is released on the markets and the economies by central banks goes into the stock market, and that's what's holding the stock markets around the globe higher. When you look at the economic news and what's going on underneath the surface, the United States has gone from economic recoveries post-recession of 3% plus growth. Over the last 5+ years, we've managed 2% growth. We've increased our output, our GDP, with 2.5 million less workers. So the productivity's gone up, the efficiency's gone up, the economy is running at a modest economic growth, but it takes growth over 3% to kind of turn things around. And our current tax policy and our industrial policy won't yield that kind of growth anytime soon. So hopefully growth will get a little bit better. I put Jeff, I believe we pronounced his name, Gunlock's take on the markets into the room. It's a long read. He's the only guy out of the major forecasters and fund managers that said that interest rates would be lower this year. So his take on the market, longer term, it's for reading later on, is worth the read. I put an article up about, and again it's for later, on the real European debt crisis and how that isn't going to get any better anytime soon, especially with their industrial and their tax policies, which limit growth. And then there's an article there on how empires die. And it's the number 8 step. When countries issue debt that they have no intention of repaying, that's when the empire goes the other way. Now, how close is the United States to it? We're not anywhere close to it yet because of Europe. We're going to be the last one to hit if it hits us. And what we have underlying the United States is if we were to change industrial and tax policy, if we were to open up our country to drilling for oil and gas, for mining for coal and uranium, we would see an industrial explosion that we haven't seen since we started shipping jobs offshore. Heavy manufacturing would come back to the United States because energy is cheaper here. And the chemical and plastic industries are already moving to the United States because of petroleum liquids, the feedstock for chemicals and plastics. So the United States has a lot of potential. Just a couple of major changes in current government policy and the direction the government's taking us could turn around, and the world sees that in our economy, and that's why dollars still flow to the United States. Are you going to put your dollars in China or Russia? Probably not. Not those that you absolutely need to. Can you put them in Switzerland and Germany? You can put some of them there, but they can't absorb all of it. So that leaves you with the United States, the EU, Britain, to put your dollars or pounds or whatever it happens might be. Those economies to put your money into. So what do we have for today? We have a market that is pointed lower, is trading lower, We had the 10-year auction that got off yesterday. I mean, the 3-year auction that got off at 21.5. Yeah, we do this all the time, and we do specific recommendations. Read that paragraph up above your first comment. Good, and there's a trade for you. So we had the auction take place at 21. There is a lot of support that comes in the 7, 10.5, 14 areas. So my guess is we're probably pointed lower, but we're not going to break the market. So I like this 9 to 13 buy zone. Probably will be after the E-mini opens before everything totally settles down. And then buy 2 against the buck, against 124. On the sell side, I like the 19 area to 23. This is the auction price from yesterday. This is the high volume number, so selling at 20. 21 makes some sense, ideally, and then 27 to 31. Today's news is very, very limited. Wholesale inventories plus half. Crude inventories minus 1.0 million barrels. And so the news is limited. It won't be paid attention to. So we have the ES opening and direction. The ES finally got down to our 85, 87 buy, and it held last night. So the direction of the ES is going to give us our early direction, and the closer we get to 1 o'clock Eastern, the more support we should see in the market. So because of the 10-year auction today and the fact that the dealers can't move the paper if the market is going straight down, I can buy into weakness in anticipation of a retest of 20 to 24. Well, Shahab, you're with us right now to find out. We talk through trades all day long. We give you stop levels and the rest of it. Right now, I'm giving you the pre-morning briefing. So after 10 a.m. Central, you can ask any and every question that you want this morning. In the meantime, it'll be fed out to you in bits and pieces, okay? Just the logistics and the way we have to run the site. Everybody else knows the methodology. You know the entrance in there. Want to know whether I want to be long and short and where I want to be a buyer or seller. So a little patience, please. Okay, the knob spread. Came in, it's back down to 13. That's where there's been pretty good support. Sometime yesterday in the overnight session, it got up to like 1306, so it's trying to trade higher. I think the 30-year is pointed lower too. So we have this 5 to 9 buy area, buy 1, and then basically against the buck, 29 to 01 for buy 2. And on the sell side, we'll make it 19 to 23, give it a little bit of room. I'm a little more interested in buying today than I am in selling, but I think we can buy it at a lower level. Okay, gold came back a little last night. Did get into our sell zone. Did not rally up and out of there. I think gold is headed either to 12.35 or 12.15 to 20. We know that there's a seller against 60. And yesterday, our number 2 buy area was this 50 area. So we've got 48 to 50. That's where support is. That's buy 1. I think we're headed lower. Buy 2, I like much better at 45 plus or minus. Okay, London's last rotate up was 57. We're at 52 right now, so it's pretty damn aggressive, but sell 1 is 55 to 57, and sell 2 is going to be 60 to 62, allowing them to get stops above yesterday's high. Given time, I think gold in the week, the last couple of weeks we've really preferred the short side. It is selling. The retail account is keeping the selling stable, but it is selling nonetheless. Okay, Europe has gone to negative interest rates, not just zero interest rates like the United States. Japan has gone to negative interest rates. Over time, it means the yen and the euro are sold, and the dollar or other currencies or other countries that pay interest are bought. So you got a carry trade. You borrow from the EU, and you buy securities from other nations or countries or the stock market, and it enhances the wealth of those that own stocks and can own stocks over time. Someday the market will correct, but we've lost company buybacks for the stock market. So right now, pretty much central banks are the biggest buyers of stocks, and they're doing that so they can all point to good times are just around the corner, or good times are here, depending if you own stocks or not. So we like the euro. Yesterday we left wanting to sell the 50. Oh, come on. I had 50 to 60 and then 75 to 85. So we have a high of 64. So you're able to sell right in that 55 to 60 area pretty handily. And right now we're at 32. We have a B pattern. Market should come back and test support. So the issue is, where is that? So the first little round of support is going to be 15 to 25. That would allow them to get stops below the overnight session low. Don't really like that trade as well as I do buy 2 at 29 plus or minus. On the sell side, we're at 32. X stopped at 40, so 40 to 50 will be sell 1, and sell 2 will be 60 to 70. And again, people may be waiting to see what Obama says tonight with his new strategy to take out ISIS. From the stuff that's been leaked, it doesn't sound like they're going to get after ISIS in a big-time way and eliminate them from the face of the earth. ISIS has been characterized as a manageable problem, so they're going to try to shrink the size of the territory that they play in, and they'll try to kill its leadership. But that's kind of a whack-a-mole strategy. It doesn't really produce long-term the results that you want. So, but that'll have to be confirmed in a speech tonight. And the talk is that it will be a coalition of Western and Middle Eastern countries that'll all band together and combine their resources and go after ISIS. So maybe this market is on hold until they see the extent of Europe's participation in confronting ISIS. Okay, crude oil, like we say, the long-term direction of this market is lower because of increased production from Canada, the United States, Libya, Iran, and Iraq. So there's more supply. Saudi Arabia will cut back their production to about 8 million barrels per day. But if it goes much below 8 million barrels per day, they can't run their economy. So they're willing to give up some market share till we get to this point, and then they will give up no more market share when we get down there. So Saudi Arabia can absorb some of this increased production, but not all of it. So the long-term direction of this market is lower. Most dictators like the price of crude oil around $100. If it goes below 80, they are pressured a great deal. Don't think the bottom will fall out on this market, but the long-term direction is lower, so we like selling into rallies better than buying into breaks. Now, that doesn't mean the market can't rally, as we saw the day before yesterday. But right now, when we look at it, we did have a seller at 94 to 94.50. Right now, we have a seller 93.50 to 94. And we've had a buyer in this 92 area. So we're at 58 right now. We're pointed lower. We'll make buy one. 92 even to 25, and then 91.50 to 75 for buy two. On the sell side, we're at 57. This is very, very aggressive, but sell one will be 75 to the buck. And then sell two will be 25 to 50. And like the short side first. Now the draw today is expected to be 1 million barrels. We've been in a trading range into this news. So if we don't break the market, if we don't take out 92, then I think short covering in front of that number will be the play. So our short will come early in the session, and it has to take out the overnight session high, then it has to take out 92 even to stay with the trade. Okay, everybody's favorite market. We have been pointed lower. We thought 85 to 87 was our best buy. We thought there was pretty good support, 85 to 90. Outside of that was the 75 area. And last night we hit the 85 area and we bounced from that. So where is resistance and where is support? Right now, we're going to start out today with resistance in the 95 area. Right here, we have the ISIS speech tonight, how we're going to confront them. He wants an additional $5 billion for the military. That does not sound like an all-out effort to me. It is a nice chunk of change for an individual, but our government can spend that in the blink of an eye. He wants to arm moderate rebels in Syria. Remember, we armed ISIS early on. So if he's going to arm the moderate rebels in Syria, I don't think Syria is going to be a part of our coalition to take out ISIS. Like it or not, if we had Syria's help and Russia's help on this, we would stand a much better chance of wiping these people out quickly. So we're going to arm the moderate rebels this time. And remember, ISIS, the Benghazi affair and all that stuff came from shipping weapons to Syrian rebels, including ISIS. And a moderate Syrian rebel group sold the latest, I forget the gentleman's name, starts with an S, the second person who was decapitated by ISIS. These moderate rebels sold that guy to ISIS so they could cut his head off. So what's a moderate rebel and how far can you trust them? Who knows? Then there's supposed to be a coalition of Western nations Saudi Arabia's name, Qatar, Oman, Jordan, Egypt have been mentioned as part of the coalition to take out ISIS too. So the market may wait till they see the extent of whatever this program is, but if it's limited by $5 billion, it's probably not much. The gist of this speech is probably more to polish a political image than it is to really get down and solve the problem. It's not an any and all type speech. So the market actually might be on the hopes that it might be an any and all speech. I would give it a lot more credibility. So resistance right here is in the 93, 95 area. This is our first sell zone. The market knows there's stops above this. It's very, very aggressive. Better resistance is at 2,000. So 99 to 2,000 will be sell 2. Don't really like this trade. We can try it once at 93 to 95. If we don't get immediate gratification, we'll get out. The buy zone is 85 to 87. And based on the news, the only thing I can see that might hold the market in check this morning or might lead to a retest of the overnight sessions low is some question about the speech that's going to be given tonight. To me, it's just kind of more of the same. It'll be, we're going to go out and we're going to do something, but we're not going to upset the apple cart or change the status of anything quickly. Keep it manageable as opposed to solving the problem. And I hope I'm wrong. I think that the world needs more than that with ISIS, but don't know what we're going to get. So that's all I have for right now. It'll take about 20 minutes to get stuff up and out and posted. I'm going to get busy on that. See you as soon as I can. No news to really drive the trading this morning, so it'll be technically based range-bound trading in my